As a Destiny 2 player, I say with almost utmost certainty that the Helldivers community needs to put a little bit more faith in Arrowhead and Helldivers 2. Now, looking at it, I fully understand that morale in the community might be at a bit of an all-time low. A lot of favorite guns have been nerfed and not since rebuffed. There's been issues with a variety of things that make weapons nigh negligible, like I know right now the flamethrower isn't working, and people are seeming to abandon the game in droves and just saying, I am tired of this game and I am out. And I feel like that is a bit of a quick hot take looking at it, because to put it into perspective, Helldivers 2 is currently only 6 months old of a game, which it launched and took the world by storm. And since they had been working with it, yeah, there has been a few off decisions being made. I know there's been a few war bonds that when people get it, they're like, wow, this is underwhelming, which is also another possibly hot take, because I don't know why anyone thinks that every single war bond is going to be absolutely amazing. Like, I think the only good one all the way through was the one that came with the base game, but I digress. The main thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that right now, again, Helldivers is only 6 months old, and to put it into comparison, while Destiny 2 isn't an accurate game to compare to Helldivers, Destiny 1 was great. We can't deny that. But then Destiny 2 came around. Its first year of Destiny 2 absolutely sucked in comparison to what Forsaken was, which, looking at it, Forsaken was year 2. That is when Bungie made a lot of decisions to turn around what they had been doing with the game, which again, I feel like this might have been the recent wake-up call, because if you had not seen, what the Helldivers Reddit put out from Arrowhead themselves basically said that we have been listening to the feedback, and they also agree that the last updates have not been up to par. And they are intending to change a few things up and coming. Just to list, within the next 60 days, they plan on continuing to reapproach balance, noting the intention of the balance should be fun and not balanced just for the sake of things being balanced. Then also an updating to the fire damage mechanic, because again, it is a bit broken right now, but they'd also mentioned they can't just backtrace it because that would break a few more things than expected, as well as reworking gameplay to prevent excessive ragdolling. As you can imagine, with the recent introduction of the Impaler, it is quite oppressive if all 3 of its Impaler tentacles are looking at you. And then as well, they're reworking the approach to primary weapons and creating a plan to make combat more engaging, because I'm sure, as you know, obviously, in the term of Helldivers, since the start, the Breaker was the go-to shotgun for almost anything. And then when the Scythe came around, or the Sickle actually, or the Scythe and the Sickle, whichever one was the automatic one, not the pure laser, when that came around, that was the go-to for everything. Once that was nerfed, I feel like the Dominator was the go-to for everything, then that got slightly nerfed. And then people started using the Breaker Incendiary for everything bugs, and that was most recently nerfed in its ammo count. Which, it isn't a total nerf, it does affect how much you need supplies, but I digress, it was still a nerf. And then from there, they are also working on prioritizing bug fixes to immediately fix more bug and gameplay breaking bugs in that fall thing. Sorry, I struggled through saying that. And as well, they wanted to rework some improve some in-game performance targeting frame rates, and as well as reworking chargers, because I guess chargers have been an issue point as of lately. I know they can be a bit oppressive when you're alone and there's more than one, but then again, that is chargers. That seems like their issue. Some issues for a bigger perspective will be exploring creation of opt-in beta test environments, so that I guess they can get their feedback in early for changes, which always is something, honestly, quite a good idea, because feedback ahead of launch to the mass population is probably a good way to avoid mass issues, as well as posting regular player surveys to gather more insights and feedback from the community, which I have for certainty seen more of these as of late in the Helldivers Community Discord, which means they're already working on that. And as well, improving the process for patch notes and release notes, which I do agree that definitely needs improvement, because I think when Escalation of Freedom came out and I was looking at some of the changes, the last update was the last update that was when they added these supply lines, so you could clearly see which planets affected which I think was at least a month prior. So yeah, that actually works out. And then more blog posts and streams where they expand on topics for us interested, which definitely seems like some good moves. Now, again, I wanted to just put it out there that we do need to have a bit more faith in Helldivers in a total, because, again, Arrowhead was a small indie dev that Helldivers became massively popular, and I feel like they have been struggling to keep up with the level of expectation since Helldivers at launch was so amazing that they are struggling to recreate that magic, because obviously everyone is not seeing the game as what it was at launch anymore. Which, again, I get it. When your favorite guns are nerfed and things don't feel as powerful anymore, I know the patrol bug issue was a thing where they made a change to patrols and suddenly everyone's feeling overwhelmed. I haven't felt that issue recently because I do believe they went back on that and of course has been resolved. But again, I feel like we need to have faith in the devs of Helldivers, because looking at how many fumbles Bungie's had that they clawed their way out of. Now, I know there's the recent controversy, but ignoring that, anytime Bungie has had a or an issue or a gameplay point that it was at general all-time low, they would, of course, release an update or come out swinging and had an excellent update and things were looking much better there. I know Arrowhead is not Bungie, which is saying in perspective, but I feel like we need to have faith in Helldivers because there is a very good chance that sometime soon we could see Arrowhead absolutely come out swinging and come out with something a lot better. Because again, they are listening. They do know that the general sentiment has been things are not great, which thankfully at least they are responding saying they have heard the feedback. We just have to have faith for a little while that it comes out. Now, again, you are more than welcome to go to other games in the meantime. If you don't like where Helldivers is at right now, or it doesn't have your interest, you don't have to play it, obviously. There are several other games on the market that if anyone wants to play for the sake of a live service game, you can. If you're just looking for an alternate game and come back to Helldivers later, I feel like every dev knows that. I forget if it was the Helldivers dev or somebody else that was openly saying, play other games if you don't like where a game is at, and when it's fixed, come back around. They will be more than happy to see you. With that is pretty much something I just wanted to talk about. I do feel like the community morale is an all-time low, and I feel like we just need to have a little bit more faith, hold out for a little while longer, let Arrowhead get their legs, and hopefully fix some things. I feel like in the next 2 months or so, after this 60-day period that they've mentioned, if things are still rough, I would agree that Arrowhead really needs to work on it. But aside from that, that is all I wanted to say. My name is TheMadScorpyon, and I'll see you in the next video.